Welcome to India Authors Podcast, where we bring real people, not the real celebrities. So today we have a special guest. She is a professor and doctor from AIIMS, and she has achieved lots of things in her life and reached to a position of a professor in AIIMS. And whenever we think about this kind of people, we think that it's the bed of roses, but it's not always like that. And that is what you will learn when you watch this podcast, saying that what all struggles she has gone through to reach to a level of becoming a professor in AIIMS. So please welcome Dr. Sunita Nayak. Hello, Sunita.
Hello, Manish.
How are you doing today?
Amazing.
Okay, so Sunita, tell me something about your early life and how did you become a doctor?
My early life was like a normal child. I was very weak physically because I was a low birth weight baby. But gradually I improved, and then my parents supported because I was a good student. But we didn't have enough money. The financial crisis was there. I struggled a lot for buying books also. It was difficult. Anyhow, I managed. And since I was doing well, my parents and the relatives, everybody said that if you are doing well, studying well, then you should become a doctor. So I went on into medical college, finished my MBBS, and then became a doctor. Then I went into MD anatomy.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So even with financial crisis, you became a doctor, and because people challenged you, that's the reason that you became a professor, right? How did it happen, right?
I always wanted to become a teacher, but doctor was never my passion. But since there was pressure from my parents and relatives, so okay, I became a doctor. And then when doing our MBBS, I found out that first year MBBS students, they spend the maximum time in anatomy department. And that is the subject which teaches you about your entire structure, the entire body. And the students in anatomy, they spend the maximum time with the anatomy teacher. And throughout their life, they always remember the anatomy teacher. And that teacher has the capacity to mold their life, to shape up their life. So I thought this is the best subject where I should pursue. And that's why I took up MD anatomy. And now I'm very proud of my subject because I have the maximum time with the students, the exposure they get from our department, and then they remember for us forever. And I have the responsibility to shape their career according to the society, what is needed.
Wow. So you became a doctor because somebody challenged you, but then eventually you got into a passion that you wanted to be, to help people, to teach people, and you became a doctor, MD, and actually started teaching anatomy for all the students. So I heard a lot saying that students comes to you to really, whenever they struggle, they actually come to you. So how do you really help them?
Since I have gone through a lot of struggles in my own life during my childhood, during my adolescent age group, even during my MD also. So, like financial things, other body shaming and all, even physical weakness, mental weakness, peer pressure, stress management, time management, so many issues I faced. Even I faced panic attack because anatomy is a very tough subject. Even when I was in first year MBBS, I thought of committing suicide because I was not able to grasp anatomy.
Oh my God.
Just before the exam, I went to the terrace to commit suicide. Didn't get the courage. For committing suicide also, you need a lot of courage. So I came back. And then I said, okay, I'll finish. Somehow I'll finish. But then I scored very good marks. Then I realized it's not about the subject or your mentality. It's about facing it. So then I found out that facing the thing is better than just accepting the failure. I talked to myself and then said, कि जो भी आएगा देखा जाएगा, let's see. And then when I faced the subject and I did it very well, even if I was about to commit suicide, then I thought every student can do it. So now it's my motto kind of, whenever I see students having little bit difficulty, I can catch hold of the student. Even if they don't come to me, in the class only I can find out who is suffering, and then I follow up, and then the students do well.
Wow. So hating a subject where you could reach to a level of getting into suicide to becoming a professor of that subject, that's a complete 100% flip. Amazing. And that's where it shows your mental capacity and power, saying that if person really decides and really ready to get face challenges, then he can do anything. And you are a real proof of that, saying that hating a subject to really becoming a professor of that subject. And another thing you said, saying that you grasp people so well and quickly. So help us understand, how do you really understand that in the students, saying that what they are really going through?
That inferiority complex, ki I won't be able to do it. There is not enough time, and the subject is very vast, and how to answer, because time is very limited. As you know, anatomy is like entire body, and any question can be asked, anything from anywhere. And we earlier we used to have 18 months. Now it has the crash course. It is now 8 months.
Oh,
So within 8 months, actually it is 1 year. The vacation and all milake, it becomes if the real teaching time becomes 8 months. So now they have a lot of stress, and they have come from just after 12th. So the school period is different. Medical college life is different, and first year actually goes into adjusting with the life of a medico. So if they spend their time in adjusting, when will they read? By the time they adjust, the subject is gone. Like they have already passed the first year. So my duty is to save their time so that they can do, with the limited time, they can do well in the subject. So since I have gone through it, so I can, and I have that compassion, because if you suffer, no, you know, ki I have suffered. So then you can easily identify the other person who is suffering. Then healing comes naturally.
wow. Well, lots of learnings from that. Seeing that, one is saying that when you suffer, you understand, saying that what the other person might be suffering. But the bigger thing is saying that if I would have gotten this kind of professor, probably I would have continued to, learn and go through more and more degrees. The people or students who are coming to you must be really, really very, positive. They must be very lucky to really get this kind of professor. And I wish everybody in India or world should get the kind of professor you are, where you understand students. So while you were going through MD, and you had lots of different kind of struggles, it's not about just reading or studying the medical sciences, but something else. So tell us something about that, and what actually happened.
In MD, the guides have a lot of power. So if they don't sign your thesis, you are not eligible to write your MD exams. So even I had that trouble. My guide asked for sexual favors, which I didn't allow. And then I didn't have the courage to complain also. And not many students have that courage. And because it will become a huge issue, and your attention, your focus will be diverted. You won't be able to focus in your studies, that all those media attention, all those. I didn't want to go through that. I was mentally prepared that, okay, I'll fail, but I won't allow him whatever he wants. So my life was difficult. Anyhow, I passed.
Wow, you must be very, strong woman to really face that. Sexual favors, that's the worst thing that woman can actually face when she's studying and she wanted to grow, and somebody wants to take advantage of that. So when you were going through all those things, what were your feelings, how were you feeling, and how did you really overcome that whole thing to become a professor?
Since I went through this struggle also, so now since I became a guide, MD student guide, I made it sure that my student doesn't go to any other department for her thesis work, and she should not face any other sexual kind of any harassment in any other department. So I made sure that my MD student does a thesis on in such a subject, in such a topic, that she is very safe in our own department. So I took up a subject on medical education, and our subjects were only our MBBS students. So she didn't have to go to other department to face another male teacher. So I made her safe because I have gone through it.
Wow. So that's very important, to ensure that safety of women is the topmost priority, and everybody in India and everybody in the world should ensure that women are taken care, they are safe wherever they go, and especially in education, because education is very important to change the country, change the life of the family, country, world. And if they are not educated, and because of this harassment, if they don't get education, that's the worst thing that can happen in the society. So really appreciate your efforts there, and I hope all the professors who are listening to this should ensure that the safety of women is taken care in their university, their colleges. So while you were going through all those things and all the struggles you had, even then, as you struggled, you also started writing things and you became a writer in medical sciences. So tell us something about that, saying that what kind of books you were writing.
When I was appearing my MD exams, final exams. My father-in-law expired, so I had to go to their place. And when I came back, I had limited time. I could not carry all the books. Like anatomy books, you have big volume books, the Gray's Anatomy and the other books. So lot many books were there. I was not able to carry them to my in-laws' place because I had to come repeatedly to my college. And then so I found out a book, exam-oriented book, and I read that. It was a small book. Then I pursued it, and then I contacted the author, and then I actually followed up, and then we wrote books together. So he was the person who made me a co-author, and then I had the interest. Now I know the students' requirement, because I am a concerned teacher, so I know the students' requirement and what is exactly needed. Because all the foreign authors, their situation, medical education is different. The scenario, the curriculum is different in foreign countries. But for India, our tropical diseases, tropical things, our students are different, our mindset is different, our exam curriculum is different, the setting is different. So we write accordingly. So that gives, because I went through that, so that also I put it into my authorship journey.
Okay, great. So while you were going through all the struggles, and we already talked in different stages, you had different struggles, but life never stopped giving you lemons. But you always continued to create lemonade. So tell us something more about the different struggles that you had and which made you the person you are today.
As I said, when I went to my in-laws' place over the day when my father-in-law expired, while pacifying my husband, he went to sleep, and when I saw the condolence messages on his phone, I found out that he had multiple affairs. So that day, it was like my world turned upside down. My father-in-law has just expired. My husband is no more mine. My daughter was a toddler, hardly 2.5 years old. And on top of that, my guide has threatened me that I won't be able to pass my MD exams. I was just a student, MD student. My aim was to become a teacher, medical teacher. Now, being a female in a country, in our society, who has no support system, no financial support, no career, imagine my condition. So I was at a crossroads. I had no other choice, because I had to support my daughter. I had to show up that her mother is strong. And not only my daughter, when I realized that many women in our country are going through all these type of things. So I felt like God is throwing lemons at me at every step of my life, every stage of my life. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm God's favorite child. So I thought of, okay, I have a bigger mission. I have to inspire the other women, even my own daughter. Now she's considering me her role model, and other students are also considering me as their role model. So I have fought a lot. Being a single parent, I have been struggling and bringing up my daughter since last 15 years. Now she is in class 12th, doing well.
Oh my God, I cannot even imagine going through so much of trouble. And then you say that you are God's favorite child. Oh my God, such a strong positive thought process you have, the strong mindset you have. I can't even think of going through all those trouble and still standing strong and achieve something that only a woman can do. Hats off to you. So tell us, saying that in all those things, you started and you came to IAA. So how did that whole transition happen? We were already writing books, but then how did and why did you join IAA?
Although I separated from my husband since last 15 years, I was not divorced. I was waiting for him. Probably he may change one day and he may join us. But last year only I got divorced. So that was another setback in my life. I never thought that he will. I'll be called a divorcee. That is another like stigma in our society. So I went inside. I was not able to talk to people around me. I had social phobia. I could not go to parties or any gatherings. So I was in a state of complete depression. So while scrolling the social media, I came across IA, and then I could see Sweta madam's positivity, and I have the innate capacity to find out good teachers, and I could immediately connect with her, and then I joined her. I went through the free webinar, and then immediately I joined the gold program, and then followed by the diamond program. I'm happy that I am here.
Okay. So, what are you loving about the overall community? What's the aspects that you love the most?
Everything is so positive. I started healing, like as if God sent me this thing, this message, and then connecting with this community. Everybody is so positive. They all inspire each other. Even if you don't do anything, they simply looking at them, thinking of them, the good hormones release, and then you feel good. And then when you feel good, you do good. And then gradually I started healing. So it was like another blessing from God. As I just said, I'm God's favorite child.
Wow. So much of positivity in you. And very good statement. If you feel good, you do good. And that's very strong thing. So people have to figure out saying that how they start feeling good. And once they start feeling good, everything actually boomerangs into bigger and better things. So very powerful statement there. So you have gone through so much of struggle and sexual favors being asked. Your husband had multiple divorces, multiple affairs. You went through the divorce. In all those things, you always kept yourself positive. How did you do it?
My daughter was my pillar, my support system. I can't see her crying. Just looking at her, I think that it's my moral duty. I am everything for her. So if I won't, who will? So when I started with her, gradually all the kids in the vicinity, in the college, everywhere. Now I think the entire world is mine. All the kids are mine. It's my responsibility. I see everybody as my daughter. Even Eva is my daughter. Your daughter Eva is my daughter. Everybody's kid is my daughter. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Wow.
Everybody is my responsibility, I think.
Wow. Okay. So after going through all these struggles and being a single parent now and all the struggles you had as a woman, what message you would like to send to this world, and especially for women and also for men, because probably half of your problems were because of men. So what message you will have for women as well as men?
There's a saying that you might have heard about our Munshi Premchand. He wrote, he's a famous author, Hindi author. He wrote that when a male attains a certain level, he develops feminine qualities. So feminine qualities is actually the bigger aspect of a male. If a male has feminine qualities, he becomes a better leader. So the society should look into the feminine qualities which is present in the male. So all the males should develop that feminine qualities. So and in females also, we should not think inferior. We have a lot of innate capacity which God has given us. That extra X chromosome, it will add immunity to your body. We can do multitasking. We can amplify whatever you give to us. We will amplify it. If you just give us raw ingredients, we'll cook nice meal for you. If you give us just a thatched roof, we'll make a nice home for you. But if you give us torture, we will amplify it. We have that Deviya Shakti. We are divine. We have that like Devi inside us. So we can amplify. So, and males or even females don't look at the body. Being an anatomy teacher, I'll tell you, 90% of the body is same in both of us. Only 10% is different, and that is only for the reproductive purpose. Brain-wise, we should look at the conscious level of the other person, not at the body. Even if you are talking to a female, she should not feel that you should not feel that you are talking to a female. You consider her as another person. And that conscious level and your intellect level. Rather, you focus on your intellectual development, not on your looks, not on your body. All the females, I would say, looking bold doesn't mean that you should take out your clothes. Boldness lies here. If you're mentally you are strong, then you are bold. So always invest your time, money in learning new skills. Even if you are poor, at least learn some skills. If you can't study, be self-sufficient, earn your own money. Even if you are a housewife, if you are not able to go outside, do something at home so that you earn your own bread. That will give you dignity. So living with dignity should be the motto of all ladies.
Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps now hearing you. And you gave me a complete different perspective. You know, in last few sentences, like it's like upside down for me as well as a male, saying that you have this feminine side as well, and if you understand that, that's where you will grow to a different level. And obviously women are devi and the power they have, so if we really create struggle for them, it would actually become tenfold, 20-fold and come back to us. So people have to understand, saying that they have to treat women right, and that's where they will be treated right, they will get the right things. But if they treat wrong, probably their life would be hell eventually. And that is the message and that's very strong message. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Sunita. Really appreciate, and it was really eye-opening session for me talking to you. I really appreciate your time and really appreciate the positivity that you have. And after all the struggles, you converted your lemons into lemonade and continue to make more and more lemonade. So please continue to do that and send this positivity to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manish. It was amazing talking to you.
Yeah, great. Bye-bye.